My name's Michael James. I'm the sales director of Springline. I've been here 34 years. Started on a youth training scheme and just worked my way through really. Didn't know what a last was. So it's good, and 34 years later we're still here, still learning. Springline was based in Northampton. It came from, there was a company called, competition called Mobbs Miller, who were the biggest last makers in the world at one point. They had places in Canada, first ones to go into the Far East, in Taiwan. And basically they shut down a company called Fine Line, which was British American, which was up St Michael's Road. So Springline was set up from that really to stay in competition with Mobbs Miller. Yeah, it started off very small. I came a year after it started, so it started in '83 I think. I come a year after, and it just basically where we were small and it was growing. Mobbs Miller were this big outfit that were doing thousands and thousands of pairs a week. Of course the trade was shrinking, it come through into the 80s and every factories were shut in, pairage was smaller. So for us we were going upwards, making dents into their business, and they couldn't quite get it shrinking to how they should have shrunk it really. So Springline eventually became the only last makers in the country, not just in Northampton. We are the only last manufacturers in the country. We're based in Northampton really because most of the trade is left here, so it's all top end, famous for its Goodyear welted footwear. There's 18 Goodyear welted factories left, so we supply them all. So really it's the only place to be as a last maker. It's we do development for all the brands as well that import, but so it's where a lot of them are based in London, Manchester, but it's in the right place really. Northampton was the biggest shoe supplier in the world at one point during the wars. We stayed in Northampton. We continued to produce in Northampton. One, because I think the Made in England brand is still important. For high-end manufacture. All the factories, as I say, are all really luxury brands now. If you go through them all, some of them, Churches, Trickers, Crockett and Jones, they're a luxury brand. And it's important. And the other, very important bit is that we control our own destiny really. If you're importing, you could quite easily set up and just be a development centre and develop the last here and import the last. And you're absolutely right. They are cheaper, quite substantially in some countries. But a last is a craft. It becomes a tool for the shoemaker. It's got to be right, and there's a lot of history, a lot of knowledge been passed down through generations really into what we do. So, but no, it's very important it stays in the UK. Very important we still manufacture in the UK. Sales-wise, the companies we work with is, as I say, bulk manufacture is very much UK. On the last side, we also make shoe trees, which are the filler, if you like, that for well-made shoes. You tend to have a shoe tree that you put in to retain the shape after you've worn it. They go all over the world. We export to Spain, Japan, Sweden, Norway, but last is very much UK. Because of the price point, it would be very hard to export last as a bulk production but we do export the knowledge. So in the fact that we do the development for many brands. I hope people like Paul Smiths and Ted Bakers and Vivienne Westwoods, etc. We're developing for them, where you just literally do the modelling and then you turn a pair or send the data, and then they get the bulk production made abroad. Business has been pretty good of late. We certainly had 5 or 6 very good years of British manufacturing footwear, even to the point where it's actually grown a bit. I'd say the last year has slightly downturned a little bit, mainly I think not so much because of Brexit. I think there is an uncertainty there, but more in the fact that if you look what's on people's feet, is runners, so trainers, running trainers, and cup-soled trainers, which has been really big for the last year and a half. It's probably another good year in that, I would have thought, but you will see it turn again. You will see it turn again. Dr. Martens are very busy. Dr. Martens are flying along because it's that sort of look. Whereas perhaps the likes of Crockett's, Church, etc. are not, they're still fair. I think they're still quite doing a good production, but probably not as high as it was 2 years ago. So. With our workforce, we have in the recent years taken on quite a few younger guys. Training in house. It's the only place. There is no school you can go to. We've got two new guys in the model room, which is the development part of it. That can take up to 5 years to learn. To be comfortable with working with customers and delivering what the customer wants. You never stop learning in it. There's always something that will come along that you sort of have to sort of, right, okay, I've not done this before. But 5 years is a comfortable time to start working with a customer and making their models for them. Factory-wise, again, we've had to retrain. You can imagine a lot of the guys working for us have got to an age, retirement ages, etc. So we're retraining in the factory. I think there's probably 4 or 5 younger guys in there, and we've got to keep doing that. It does affect your margins, etc. Because you've got to employ a younger guy to stand with the older guy to train up. So you're almost doubling your salaries, so your salary budget goes high compared to your turnover, but you've got to do it. If we're going to be here in another 10, 20 years, 30 years, hopefully longer, we've got to retrain. We work for some fantastic companies. All of Northamptonshire, it is a pleasure to work for them. They're very loyal. They support you. Even if you get in trouble with delivery dates, etc., it's never really a fallout. So there's some great Northamptonshire brands, factories that we work with. We also work with, as I said earlier, in the likes of Paul Smiths, etc., which are great because you're doing new stuff all the time. It's such a craft. So to keep up with the fashion is good for us. We do a bespoke service as well. So we've done some good clients on bespoke. We've done Shaka O'Neal, who's the basketball player, retired basketball player. He's a size 22, so that was quite something. We've done, last for the Queen for a company called Anello and David, who were Reigns before that, who'd done all the royal family. Just very recently, we've done Alan Carr which was good. Really nice to meet him. We're sort of halfway through a presentation we want to put on, so we're basically measuring about 10 to 12 Northamptonshire people that have either sort of connected to Northampton or come from Northampton that have become celebrities. So we've done the likes of Dylan Hartley, who's the England and Saints rugby captain. We've done Joe Wiley, the DJ. Chris Wilder, who was Cobblers manager when they took them up 3 seasons ago. Alan Moore, we've done Alan Moore. So there's quite a few. And there's some fantastic. We've done a lot of footballers, etc. for New Balance as well. For Barkers, they want us to go and measure Sean Bean next Tuesday.